my name's Coyle. I'm a 22-year-old recent graduate of Rider University with a degree in digital media. I'm originally from Philadelphia. I went to school in New Jersey, and just this past semester, my final one of college, I lived and worked in Los Angeles with Voltage Pictures and KMR Talent Agency. I've been a student my whole life, so now I'm really entering the new chapter of my life where I got to figure out what I want to do, and I know my passion's in storytelling, which has led me specifically to you guys. In addition to Reddit, I'm a really big fan of podcasts, so much so that I probably listen to them more than music at this point. But because of that, I've kind of evolved into a bit of a conspiracy theorist, or at the very least, a skeptic. Some of my favorite podcasts are the Joe Rogan podcast, White Wine True Crime podcast, which is another really popular one I'm a big fan of, and also like Unregistered with historian Thaddeus Russell. For me personally, the thing I love most about podcasts is, unlike TV news, where the story has to be told in 60 seconds with a very clear beginning, middle, and end. In podcasts, you have the chance to hear specialists in particular fields and areas of interest, particularly true crime, and they can talk for 2 or 3 hours with someone and really get into the details and the nuances of a case. And you can really learn a lot more that way. The biggest tool I use to keep up to date with my research and interest in cold cases would definitely be Reddit again, particularly subreddits. For those who don't know, subreddits are communities of smaller groups of people who all share a similar interest within Reddit. So for example, I'm really involved in the Unsolved Mysteries subreddit, and it sort of acts as a database for all people with interest in cold cases to post their research, evidence, pictures, or even conversations they might have had with people that they think would be useful evidence towards solving the case. While admittedly I should probably read more books about unsolved cases and not just rely online, one of the bigger developments that I saw was the publishing of the late Michelle McNamara's book, I'll Be Gone in the Dark, which was her attempt at solving who the Golden State serial killer was, who committed his last known killing in 1986 but remained free up until recently. The Oakland Police Department actually credited Michelle's book as a major reason they were able to arrest Joseph D'Angelo, who is allegedly, again, allegedly, the Golden State Killer. And it's extremely rare for a police department to thank an ordinary citizen doing their own research, because usually that evidence doesn't hold up in court. But the information in the book was so compelling that it actually led towards the arrest of a serial killer who was just living free. So that's really a big inspiration for me. The biggest case that's had an impact on my life so far would definitely be the O.J. Simpson trial. While it sounds like a very stereotypical answer, I was just too young to really experience the trial in person, so I always assumed O.J. was innocent without ever actually doing any research. Once I watched the countless O.J. docuseries that have been a very popular thing of late, it fascinated me because not only did it have all the elements of a terrible true crime story like an affair and murder, the story itself kind of acted as this conduit for bigger, larger social issues like race and class and socioeconomics. So I found it super interesting, not only because it had all the elements of a classic true crime story, but it was also utilized by all this social tension that was building between race and class and things like that. So the reason I found that most interesting to me was because it was the true crime story that really made me think the most, and I felt like it affected the most amount of people in the country. So that case is definitely the most impactful in my life.